Cold open question of the week, Gary.
Yes, sir.
This one comes to us from X. The Husky has a question, a marital question. What better guys to go to, right?
Exactly.
All right, here's the scenario. I'm about to get married, and my fiance knows I have an inheritance that was left to me by my grandparents. It's in my name only, and I've been saving it for years. Now he's saying that before we get married, I should put the entire inheritance into a joint account so we can, quote, start fresh together, end quote. Or he doesn't think we should go through with the wedding.
Whoa.
I'm 36 already, and this is something my family worked hard to leave me. I'm torn between wanting to build a life together and feeling like I'm being pressured to give up something important to me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think I should do? So we ask Gary, what advice would you give to this person?
Well, okay. You're only 36. I mean, I guess I'm assuming it's a female, or I don't know.
It
You
doesn't
said
matter, does it?
whatever. I guess not. So, 36. That's still young enough to where you might be able to find someone else. And I wish I knew how long they were together. Because it didn't say, right? It didn't say like how long.
No, it doesn't say how long they've been together.
If you're getting pressured into taking the money that is yours and throwing it into an account for both of you, then that's kind of a red flag right there to me. Is that person's really there for your money.
Would you ever put that condition on a marriage if you're saying to your fiance, "Hey, I want to be part of that account. Otherwise, the wedding's off." I think he or she is showing their true colors by saying,
"Oh yeah," No, I would never. I would never. I would assume that once we're married, if we needed that money for something specific or whatever, my
right.
partner would not have a problem with saying, "Hey, okay, we'll use this for this, and we'll use it whatever." But I would never be like, "Hey, hey, I need to be on this account too, or we're not getting married." That right there to me is get out now. You're still surprised. You're still at a good age where you could still find someone else. But no, that right there just is ridiculous. I would
Do you
never do
think
that.
do you think, Gary, having a lot of money makes it difficult for people getting into relationships?
Yeah, I could see, that's why when you think about like when you look at like a lot of these movie stars and musicians, things like that, most of them are with someone that has money as well. You have those couple that don't, but then sometimes they'll find someone that's maybe not in the industry, but they have their own money, as so you don't really see a an actress or an actor or a musician with some guy who works down at the grocery store, bagging groceries or doing something else. Like, so I think it is difficult for those that have money
Yeah.
to find someone that are they really with me or are they with my money, and I'm just like a extra part of this relationship. So
Well, we know that people who are still listening are with us,
oh yeah,
regardless of the money.
yeah, no, we have none. So
So let's start the show.
all right, come on.
Music was going to leave us. Welcome into another exciting episode of the Brian Lennon Show. As always, I'm your host, Brian Lennon, and as always, joined by my co-host, Mr. Gary McDaniel, sporting your new rap hat.
It's not new, but uh, it's what they have right now. So
All
if
right.
anyone's interested, watch the video.
And we always love to thank our sponsor, Rap Brewing, for
Hmm.
sponsoring the show over a year now, well over a year, about a year and a half.
Yeah,
And we're
yeah,
looking forward to my first trip to Rap Brewing
yes,
come
sir.
June. Did you get a chance to talk to them about doing some special
Not
TBLS
yet.
flight? Not yet.
No, well, I actually our plans changed for the weekend, so I didn't get a chance to get up there. So,
Okay.
uh,
Anything fun that they changed for the weekend or?
yeah, we actually went to Orlando over to Universal Studios.
Oh, that's right. You sent us pictures. I wasn't, was that a Harry Potter thing?
Uh, so that was the brand new park. Oh, geez. That was the brand new park that just opened like maybe a year and a half ago or whatever. So
Mm.
Universal has the two main parks, which is their original Universal Studios, and then Islands of Adventure that are kind of connected. And then they built their big water park that they have called Volcano Bay, and then they just built a brand new park called Epic Universe that is split out into a couple different sections. So like they have a Mario World, Super Mario Brothers. They have a Monsters World, which is like your old school Dracula, Frankenstein, werewolf area, and then they have a new Harry Potter section, and then they have How to Train a Dragon, and then in the middle is called Celestial Park, and they have a couple little random couple rides in there and too. So we decided to go check that out over the weekend with the in laws, and so it wasn't bad. I mean, it was the first time we've ever been to the Epic universe. So
I saw the pictures and I wasn't, nothing made any sense to me, but that's why I figured it was maybe Harry Potter because then Lisa was Googling,
so
Googling, and
the
Googling about it.
picture I sent was just the front of the park to get in. We didn't even get to the Harry Potter part yet. Ooh. But I knew she would know what it was when I sent the picture where
Okay.
it's an Epic Universe. But yeah, so that was what we did instead of sitting around here. So we had a good time. A lot of walking.
Yeah.
Uh, my body was
Feeling it.
yeah hated me for a couple days now. So
All right, Gary. Well, I wanted to start the show. We usually leave this for the end, but this was a big
yeah,
one, bigger than
yep.
normal. Chuck Norris passed away. Uh, he
Yeah.
the octogenarian, martial artist, actor, and celebrity decided to take an eternal nap on March 19th. Um, sort of before the Dos Equis, world's most interesting man, there was Chuck Norris.
Yes.
At some
Definitely.
point, I think it actually started as like sayings regarding Chuck Norris, but then
Yes.
when memes became a thing,
It definitely.
he took over
Oh yeah.
the memeness of it.
I mean, uh, shoot, there was just a brand new one that just came out. Like it was, I don't know if it was the day he died or if it was the next day or whatever, saying this is what or what how Chuck Norris looks at his funeral, and it's him carrying his own casket. And I was like, oh, geez, they're still going. But yeah, that was a shocker when we were. I don't even know where it was that. When did we get that news? That was on.
That was on the 19th. I think it was like the day after we recorded
Okay,
last week.
I forget um where I was when I got the news, and all of a sudden the text came through, and I'm like, no, and I had to like hurry up and look it up to see, because sometimes you get those news things, and sometimes they're not true, and
Well,
I had to do my research.
I wanted to ask you, Gary, did you ever watch a Chuck Norris movie?
I feel like I have seen some Chuck Norris movies. I don't like. I mean, maybe ones where like I mean, I know I've definitely seen him in stuff like where he'd make appearances and all this, but I mean, I
Was
feel
he
like
in he was in Texas Walker Ranger, right?
Walker, Texas Ranger,
Walker,
yes.
Texas Ranger.
He was
Now,
the original, yes.
I think my grandmother watched that, and I remember it being on, like, CBS,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it would be on but I would never watch it. It would come on, like, at the end of the football game, they would tell you, "Tonight, an all new Walker, Texas Ranger."
Yeah. I don't think I've ever I feel like I may have seen a couple episodes because I think some of my family may have watched it as well, and it would just be on, and I would just catch some of the stuff. But I don't.
The
I've
thing
never.
I'm
I
probably
didn't watch
most
the original.
familiar with for him, Gary, is it would be, like, Saturday afternoon when he did those, commercials for that, like, exercise apparatus with
Uh huh.
Christy Brinkley.
Yep.
It was
And
her
he was
him and her on a piece of exercise equipment. I would
yep.
watch it to, you know, look at Christy Brinkley for
Exactly.
15 minutes or
I do recall that. Yes.
that's probably the most of his work that I'm familiar with.
Yeah. Like I don't think I've ever seen any of his old like I because I think the most I've ever like his was like those random like maybe one of those movies in the 80s where he was like the the action star. But I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look up his uh filmography to and see if anything stuck out, but like I can't think of anything like right now.
Yeah, but
Um
he's a big one to,
yeah.
head off. Now, conversely, Gary, someone very special to you celebrated their 95th birthday this week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You wanna share who it is?
Is it the one true captain?
So William Shatner is now
Yes, sir.
95, still
Ooh,
smoking. He posted a, picture of himself smoking a cigar to celebrate.
yeah.
He looks great.
He does.
This
For
this time travel has really done a
uh,
number on his skin and his hair.
space, yeah, space travel is fantastic, I guess. So, but yeah, no, I mean, even with like Chuck, I didn't realize Chuck Norris was 86. I don't know. I felt like he just stopped in time and it was just that 1 8, like, I don't know, in his 40s or something like that. But yeah, no, Shatner, it's a because we were just, there was a, actually, when we were over in Orlando this past weekend, there was the MegaCon going on as well that weekend. I think he was supposed to be there for it. And Walter Koenig, who plays Chekhov, I believe, was going to be there too. And we were talking about because I said, I'm like, oh man, I should go over there because, like there's only three of them left out of uh, that original crew
Oh, really?
still alive right now. So, and I got to see Nichelle Nichols at one of the Comic Cons, but I didn't get her autograph or anything. I actually have a signed, and I think it might be Walter Koenig might be on there too. But I won it at when we went a few years ago to the Supernatural convention. In between stuff, they had like a little auction going on, and they auctioned off. It was a signed Shatner picture and then a signed photo, and I think it was Nichelle Nichols. I believe it was Walt Koenig, and I believe it was oh my um uh,
George
George Takei. I believe are the three on the photo.
Takei.
I'd have to look for it. It's somewhere over here. But I ended up winning the auction, so I had that, but I never got to actually meet those guys. The only person I met was Shatner. So
You've met the captain.
I did. I have a photo
You
with
have your
him and
picture with
everything.
him.
So yeah, yeah, that was the
Yeah.
one thing I wanted to do when I first found out he was coming to the one Comic Con, and that was probably about he was probably in his late 80s maybe at that time. So
Yeah.
it's been a few years.
My memories of the original Star Trek series is from when I broke my leg on, I think it was Saturday mornings or at night too. Whatever channel I was watching, Star Trek would come on,
Yeah.
and it kind of scared me. And so I'd have to, ring the nurse and have her like
Yeah.
change the channel for me. Um, and then that's when I got into wrestling on
Mm.
Saturdays. I would
Mhm.
try
Yeah.
anything to avoid Star Trek, and I
Yeah,
ended up watching wrestling. But
exactly.
I became more of a Star Trek fan with The Next Generation.
Yeah, but most people.
But,
Well, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, the original cast, I mean, I grew up with them in the movies,
right.
not as a TV series, because the TV series was already off the air, by the time we were old enough to really pay attention to stuff. So,
But
um, but
that
that
series
series
itself was groundbreaking for
yeah.
a lot of the, social things that came out of that show as far as, like, interracial relationships
Oh,
and the first kiss on TV,
oh,
things like
definitely.
that. Shatner was sort of a, pioneer in that sense.
Yeah. And then you think, I mean, I forget how many, they didn't really have many seasons.
No.
But just for that little bit of season, and then all those movies to span off this giant, uh, thing that
World.
it is today. I mean, there's so many. Like I watch all these new series that they have out there now. So I mean, I've been watching all that stuff, and they're actually talking about, because the one series that I really got into is the Strange New Worlds, which is the Enterprise prior to Kirk and all that. So it's with Captain Pike and his crew, but
Mm.
like Uhura is part of the crew, but she's an ensign. Spock is on the crew. So like it started with those two, and now it's grown a little bit. Like uh, we've seen a Kirk now who's like on a different ship somewhere. Like he's a commander on a. He's not a captain of a ship, but he's like the second on another ship somewhere. And then Scotty just came in. I don't know, the last season or last two seasons or whatever. And then they've already announced where McCoy, Dr. McCoy, and Sulu are going to be on this coming season coming up. So I said, really, the only person that they haven't brought on yet was Chekhov. Um, and now they're already talking about starting another series after Strange New Worlds ends, to where it's going to be year one. It's with all these new actors and actresses that are playing these iconic characters now, that they're gonna might do another series with all of them. So I'm excited about that part, because I was like, ooh, I love it.
Now, who was the Star Trek fan that kinda got you into Star Trek? Or how did you become a Star Trek
That's a
fan?
good question. Uh I don't remember. Because I feel like my family weren't big into sci-fi, but I don't know. I don't know how I start. I mean, I know, like, I remember going to see Wrath of Khan in the movies, and I think that might have been. I mean, I'd seen the first film, the Star Trek motion picture, but I think that was on. I think, I don't know, someone must have rented it or something. And then I remember like going to see Wrath of Khan, and then that was it. From Wrath of Khan on, I was hooked with it, because I don't know what it was about that
I
one movie, but
It's interesting too, because Star Trek probably influenced Star Wars on some level. Like, I don't think there's a Star Wars without a Star Trek.
yeah, hmm, I
But
can see
then
that.
the success of Star Wars
Yeah,
probably made those guys realize, like, "Oh, shit. We're, like, sitting
mhm,
on this,
yep,
you know, diamond mine.
yeah,
We can make movies with these characters."
yeah, and
And
that's what they did. I mean, let's see, was there six with the original members of the Enterprise, and then there's three or four. I think there's four with the Next Generation. Um, and then they stopped. They haven't made. Oh no, because then they rebooted and redid a new Kirk and Spock and all them with
Right.
Chris Pine and I want to say Zachary Levi, but that's not the right one.
Zach, though.
Qu- uh, uh, Quinton or Quinto or oh,
Zachary
God,
Quinto.
Zachary. It might be something like that.
Yeah.
Um, and then they made three of those, I believe, and then they stopped. But no, now it's all like now Paramount Plus. There's a whole bunch of different
Is that where you
like
watch
that's where I
everything?
watched them. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like they had Discovery. They did the Strange New Worlds. They just I just finished up Starfleet Academy. So that one and that one kind of goes along with Discovery. So
Gary, for someone who wants to watch one of the original Cruise movies, which one would you say is the one to watch?
oh, you gotta watch the second one,
The second one,
Wrath of Khan. Yeah,
Wrath of Khan. Okay.
that's probably the best one out there.
I might have to try watching one of those.
It's. I mean, watching it now, it's different. Like because with such movie technology that there is now, and then you go back to watch that one. It's still to me, it's still
I'm all right. I'm all right with that.
it's still good. Like I could deal with because I mean you think I mean that was probably what in the 80s when they made that one. So I mean
Early 80s.
technology wasn't great, but I mean to me that's still probably the best one out of all of Star Trek movies. So
All right. Just a reminder to subscribe to the podcast here, the brianlennonshow.substack.com. Leave us a comment. We heard actually, Gary, I heard from two people, two former guests this week.
ooh,
One had some news of the weird they wanted to pass on to you. We'll get to that when we
yes.
do. And then our friend Chuck Shilkin, who we haven't had on the show for a while. He's
Yeah, it's been a little
overdue.
bit. Yeah.
He's overdue. He had questions about my outfit from the No Doubt concert, and
Oh.
was wondering why I didn't wear that to the newspaper. Just a few short years later.
Uh-huh.
It was funny. I was watching some of the women's NCAA basketball tournament yesterday
Mhm.
with my daughter Ruby, and the Oklahoma State basketball coach. She was wearing pants that looked very similar
Okay.
to my pants that I wore to the No Doubt concert.
Oh, I wish I'd seen that one. I had we were out for dinner last night, and I was watching a little bit of it too, watching UConn just manhandle Syracuse, and then I was and then on one of the other TVs, the restaurant, we were watching oh man, who was Oklahoma and Ole Miss softball. So it
Mm.
was yeah, it was interesting. But
Those we're gonna go into some more basketball, so this is kind of
we
a good
we need to
segue.
we need to hunt down some photos. There's got to be something out there from when we went to No Doubt. I mean,
I reached out to Lisa. She has tons of photos, some of them
oh God, yeah.
incriminating,
Oh yeah.
um,
Mhm.
to see if she had something handy. But I think she's got so many pictures, she probably wouldn't even know where to start to look for
Oh yeah.
pictures
No.
from July 9th, 1990.
So it's funny talking about photos. Is that one that you had posted the other, or what about with your hair? And, going being back in the '90s or something like that. It was one when you had your dyed hair,
Uh-huh.
and my son thought it was me, and he said, so, I'm like, what? I'm like,
That's
and
something.
then Shannon said something. And he's like, he goes, I thought this was you. He's like, are you talking about dyeing hair? Or he's like, because he was talking about wanting to do something with his hair or something like that. And I never said no, because and then he's like, well, you had your. I was like, no, that wasn't even me. I'm like, he's like, well, why the hell do you two look so alike? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, he's like, so he's yelling. I'm like, don't yell at me about this. I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm like, I never said you couldn't dye your hair,
I've
but
been coming across pictures from senior year this
yeah.
last like 2 weeks, and um we played so much volleyball the
We
last, like, month of high
Mhm.
school, outdoors volleyball.
Yeah.
All of these pictures, I am, like, red. My forehead is, like, red, and my nose is red
Uh-huh.
from
Yeah.
being out in the sun.
Yeah. Yeah, we were crazy when we were always out there.
Alright,
When they
Gary,
were
I want to
playing
talk
softball on Sunday, we were over at that beach volleyball section and
complex, yeah, it's still there. I want to talk about some local basketball stories here for us people up here in Northeast Pennsylvania.
yeah, what you got?
The Lady Royals from the University of Scranton women's basketball team, uh, as I've talked about on previous podcasts, I took Bernie to 2 of the games
Mhm.
recently, the conference championship, and then I think it was the second round of the NCAA Division III championship, and the team, kinda wiped the floor with both of those teams. Um, they ended up going to the Final Four, where they met NYU, which
Mm.
was the number 1 ranked team in the country. They had a 91 game winning streak.
Oh,
I believe they were the two-time defending national championship champions. The Lady Royals beat them
wow.
last Thursday and then lost the final to Denison.
Oh,
So I
that's
was I was rooting for them because, um, as you know, my friend Shannon Milder, who played for the Lady Royals,
Mhm.
passed away last May, and I was kinda, like, rooting for them,
Yeah.
wondering, "Hey, are you doing something up there that you got
Yeah, yeah,
them,
yeah. You're
you know, going to the Final Four and winning?" So, it was a great season.
Yeah.
They started the season by beating the Pitt team, a Division I team in Pittsburgh.
Oh, wow.
Their head coach, Ben O'Brien, was the coach for the Dunmore Lady Bucks,
Mm.
for years, took them to a few state championship runs,
Yeah.
and he's been there for 3 years. I think his record is, like, 102 and 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, I'm curious if he might be moving on somewhere after this season.
Ye Yeah.
We'll see that. The other local story, Gary, is, Siena and their now former head coach, Jerry McNamara, who graduated from Bishop Hannon here in
Mhm.
Scranton. Um, they faced Duke in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They were the number 16 seed. They led the Blue Devils by 11 points at the half. It was the largest halftime lead number 16 seed had ever had against a top seed.
Wow.
They ended up losing the game, however, but I think they lost by 6. And they only played 5 kids the whole game.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah, they
In
I guess they only have 7 scholarship players on the team,
Mm.
and the 2 were like I think it was a freshman and a redshirt sophomore, and one of them had, like, turnover issues during the
Mm.
season. So Jerry just kinda was like, ride and die with these 5 guys, and they put on a hell of a show.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the game, but I excuse me, I pulled up my app because I'm like, "Oh, shoot, I think the tournament started today." So I opened it up to see what some of the if like, some of the scores because some of the games started, like, really early. And when I pulled up and I seen that, yeah, they were up quite a bit, but on do I'm like, oh my god. And then I was like, I'm not gonna say anything because I was gonna text you, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna let it go and I'll wait. And then I completely forgot, and then I was like, oh shoot, I went back on. I was like, ah, crap. I'm like, I was kind of hoping they were gonna pull it off, but um, yeah, it was. I mean, that's one way to get
Yeah,
your get
So
yourself into a better school. You take
so
on the number
after the
one team.
game, Duke's head coach basically said, like, Jerry McNamara outcoached me,
Mm,
and he said, "What better can you do than, what he did
yeah,
to get a job in the ACC?" Basically saying, like, "Syracuse, you should probably hire this guy."
yeah,
Rick
exactly.
Pitino came out as well, talking about him, and then today it was finally announced earlier this morning that he did, come to terms to coach Syracuse, so he will be going
Oh,
to
okay. I
Syracuse.
didn't hear about that. Okay.
Yeah. I thought he should have been hired. It's funny. I thought he should have been hired 3 years ago when
Yeah.
Boeheim stepped aside, but they gave it to, I think his name is Adrian Autry, who had been there a little bit longer than him. Um, and McNamara, I think, coached with him for a year, and then the last 2 years he went to Siena.
Well,
Um,
Syracuse was in the tournament too, weren't they?
no,
Or
they haven't been in the tournament in 5 years.
okay, so they didn't make the tournament. I must have been thinking of the ladies last night. That's
Yeah.
probably what
So, I think you don't ever wanna be the guy that follows the guy.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I think Autry had a tough spot to be in following, um,
Mhm.
Boeheim. So I think this is maybe a little bit it's actually probably works out better for Jerry McNamara to come in as the guy to replace the guy who tried to replace the guy,
Yeah.
if you will. So, um,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you only lose by 6 to the number 1 team. Yeah,
playing with 5 guys.
you definitely, you earned your way into a Division 1 school to coach. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good for him.
Yeah. He's, 42, so he's a little bit younger than us, but young as far as, like, coaching goes.
Oh, yeah.
He's got
Plenty of time.
lots of years ahead of him.
Yep.
Um, Gary, I wanted to talk a little bit about, the Masters is coming up,
Mhm.
and one of the big things every year is the champion has a dinner in their honor,
Mhm.
and they pick the menu.
I seen that. Yeah.
And so, your boy Rory McIlroy,
Mhm.
who won last year after 20 years of trying,
Mm.
um, spared no expense on his, champions dinner menu.
I know. I
And
was looking
and
at it. Mm.
looking at it, it sort of seems like a menu our friends Dan Fulton or Jason Vesco would put together. They're
Oh
both
god, yes.
they're both huge, food aficionados.
Most definitely.
So here's a little taste of the, menu. So for the appetizer, you have a peach and ricotta flatbread,
Mhm.
rock shrimp tempura, which, that's probably what I would go for. Bacon wrapped dates.
Uh-huh.
It has goat cheese and almonds with it. Not quite sure about that. Gary, here's another thing. Since you've joined the elk has been coming up in my world, and this includes grilled elk sliders
Uh-huh. Yeah.
with caramelized
Yep.
onion
Yeah.
jam and roasted garlic aioli.
Mhm.
Those actually sound pretty good, although I don't know
Mm.
how I'd be about elk.
Yeah, well, I've had venison before,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know if they'd be like kind of in the same level.
Now, are elk members allowed to eat elk?
That's a good question. I'll have to find out.
You might want to ask before
Yeah,
you.
I'll have to find out. Yeah.
All right, then the first course is the yellowfin tuna carpaccio.
Uh-huh. Eh.
Have you ever had like tuna, like not tuna fish, like tuna?
Um, yes, I believe I had a tuna steak once before.
Did you
See, I
like
don't
it?
like I don't like I don't like to eat cold fish or any of that sort. So like I don't like when it comes to like like sushi, I have to have the tempura sushi type of sushi, like
Okay.
shrimp or whatever. I need something cooked. I can't eat cold. Same thing like when it comes to like ahi tuna, when people like, it's just like that little bit of seared or whatever. It still freaks me out. Tuna fish, I don't eat cold. And I only eat tuna fish in casseroles. I won't eat cold tuna.
You've never had
Um
a tuna fish sandwich?
no. I don't like
Really?
mayo either, so I won't eat that. I don't it's just, I don't know, it's weird to me. Like I need my stuff cooked and warm. I can't have cold fish or any. Ugh, creeps me out. So, but I've had a tuna steak where it was like cooked. So, um, but yeah, I
Uh,
don't know about that one if I would eat that or not.
the main course, this is what reminded me of Dan Fulton, was the Wagyu filet mignon
Yeah.
or seared salmon. Now I know Dave or Dan typically the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's, he usually has some nice Wagyu steaks.
Yeah.
Um,
I've had a wagyu. They're very good.
I've
Excuse
had
me.
Wagyu small pieces before. I've never had
Mm.
like Wagyu steak.
Yeah. One of the restaurants I've gone to used to have a wagyu steak. So I tried it one time. It was good.
And you can also have seared, or you could have the seared salmon.
Yeah. I don't mind salmon.
It's all right. I've had it.
But yeah, I mean,
I'd go with the filet mignon.
oh yeah, definitely. Whenever there's any type of meat, I go with that. No.
Now it says there, Gary, traditional Irish champ. Do you know what that means? Gary's drinking his beer, so
No, I meant to look that up.
I don't know what that means.
Let's see what that is. That is traditional Irish champ is a creamy mashed potato dish mixed with
Ooh,
green onions, butter, and milk, often served as a comforting side in Irish cuisine. So basically, it's mashed potatoes and
mashed potatoes.
green onions.
Oh,
So yeah.
I would definitely be into that. There's also going to be sautéed Brussels sprouts with that. You
Mhm.
could have glazed carrots with brown butter
Yeah, which is
and a crispy Vidalia onion rings.
okay.
Vidalias always remind me of you, Gary, and your Dr. Chumley. You had a line about Vidalias.
Oh, geez.
And then for dessert, Gary,
Yeah.
I think you've made this before.
You
Some
tell me.
sticky toffee pudding
Yeah.
with
Oh,
vanilla ice cream and warm toffee sauce. Do you like toffee?
I do.
I do too.
Mhm.
I like
I,
I used to get toffee in my um coffee. I'd have a toffee coffee.
yeah. I think I've had a creamer once that was toffee. So yeah, I do love a good toffee in my coffee
Yeah.
as well.
Like probably about 20 years ago, my order at Starbucks would be a large coffee. Or what are those called? Venti coffee?
Uh, is the
With
large venti or is the large
yeah.
grande?
No, I think a grande is no, I don't know.
I think venti is
20
the
ounce.
biggest one, and
Venti is the biggest one.
then grande, and then I don't know what the other ones are. I don't know. I say larger, medium.
But I would get a venti coffee with toffee nut and cream
Mm-hmm.
and 2 sweet and low.
Mm-hmm. Sounds yummy.
Yep.
Mine is just no.
Now, Gary, there's also some wine on the list here, which apparently these wines are like if you went to go buy them. How old is Rory McIlroy? Is he
Um,
40?
I think he's I think he's in the 40s.
So he would have been born in what? 86, 85?
He's 36.
Oh
He was
shit.
born in 89.
89. Okay. That makes
Yeah.
sense then. So one of the wines that they're serving is a 1989 Chateau de Grim Sautenay Bordeaux.
Mm, mm.
Pardon my French for anyone who knows better. So that would be a red wine. And then a 1990 Chateau Latit Rothschild, also a Bordeaux, which I believe is a red wine.
Uh-huh.
And then a 2022 Domaine Lefebvre Betal Montreux Pauline Monsoir, which
Mm.
is a Burgundy.
Oh, interesting.
Do you think I'm fooling anyone with my French here?
Sure.
And then a 2015 Salon S Brut Les Meuniers Sauvages Champagne.
Oh,
It's a
we.
champagne.
Mm.
I like Bruts.
So yes, I was always when it came to champagne, I like the drier stuff, the brute stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
better than the sweeter stuff because sometimes it just was too sweet. I think the brutes go well when you're doing like a nice little mimosa, things like that. So
Mm.
when you try to use like a sweeter version, then it's too sweet.
I remember when I used to DJ that summer, a lot of the wedding parties had those like small bottles of Brut. They'd
Uh huh.
probably be like personalized. You put a sticker on, like,
Yes, they're
you
all
know,
your they were your wedding gifts. Yep.
yeah, Amy and Mike's wedding.
Uh huh.
And at the end of the night, as I'm putting my stuff away, half the people are in the bag, so they're just leaving. They're forgetting.
We're getting their little tiny bottles of
Remember the one wedding I did down in Wilkes Barre, I must have left there with like 8 or 9 bottles of champagne in the back, and, I put them, like, in the foot area of the back seat, and as I was, like, taking turns, you just
you
hear,
just
like,
hear the
all this glass,
jing,
like, sliding and thinking, like, "Hope they don't." But it was nice when you had, someone over, you could just,
Hey,
"Let's have a
crack
little
open
champagne,
a little champagne. Yeah, crack open the champagne.
a little
Actually, I think
triple up."
I might have some of those in the cabinet somewhere from a wedding.
Yeah,
Never drank. They're just sitting in there.
I might have
Sure, it's somewhere. I think I
I don't know
swore I
what I
just
have
seen
here.
one the other day when I was looking at something. Well, oh yeah, good to
Gary, what would be on your master's menu if you were the champ? Like,
Oh
what would be
man,
your main dish that you would like?
you know what? I mean, if I could have like a certain chef make it, I would definitely. I want to. I've always wanted to try Ramsey's. Um. Oh my God, I just lost it. Oh,
Is it a meat?
yes. So it's the meat that's wrapped in the pastry with the mushroom
A tenderloin or a beef Wellington?
Wellington. Yes, beef Wellington. I finally try Epcot when we were it might have been a year or two ago during their either with their food and wine festival or it was their flower and garden festival. One of the kiosks had Wellington, and now I'm not a mushroom eater,
Okay, so
but it's
mayonnaise, cold tuna,
yeah,
and mushrooms
mushrooms. But this is like a paste, so it's what they use to kind of put over
hold
the beef and
together.
then put the pastry so it holds it. But I mean, what the little bit I've tried over at Epcot, I was like, oh my god, this thing is so good. And all those years of watching Hell's Kitchen, and that was like one of his main dish, and you'd see it and you're like, oh, that just looks friggin' fantastic. That's one thing I've always wanted to try, and for some reason there's no place around here that I can find that actually. I mean, there might be something that they do it maybe like special occasions or something like that, or like certain. I don't know if it's like a winter meal or whatever. I don't know, but I would definitely want to. I would want that on my menu, just so
I would probably go with a prime rib.
that'd be a good choice too. Yeah, yeah. I don't mind a fillet, but I feel like fillets are like beef medallions. They're just so tiny, and I'm like, oh. I mean, I know they're. I've had a
That
fillet
wagyu though
before,
is like very rich though, so it's probably like very filling.
so I mean that one probably won't be as bad. But I mean, like I've had a fillet a few years back when I was over in Disney again. Over in Disney, we went to one of the restaurants in what was well now is Disney Springs, but it was Pleasure Island or whatever the heck it was called at that time, and it was good. But I was just like, I could eat like three of these. So I mean, maybe now I don't eat as much as I used to, so maybe one would probably suffice. But still,
I think also I'd probably try to throw on there either like a Coney Island hot dog or like a a cheesesteak.
something. Yeah,
I like cheesesteaks.
I mean, like, I want. You can either choose beef Wellington or Andy's pizza.
For our veterinarians, for our
or,
vegetarian
or
choice,
vegetarian.
Andy's Pizza.
Andy's pizza. Well, it's got to have sausage on it though, so that's good.
Carrie, you want to should we do the story about the Oscars and the World Baseball Classic?
If you want, I mean, I didn't watch either, so
Yeah, so the World Baseball Classic did very well in the ratings wise.
okay.
The final of the World Baseball Classic, which featured the United States and Venezuela, beat the average of last year's 7-game NBA Finals. So the average for all 7 games, it
Yeah.
beat that over
Okay.
the one game. And then as far as the Oscars go, because they were on the same night, 10.87 million viewers on Fox and Fox Deportes. And I think the Oscars beat it, but not by much.
Mm. Yeah.
So
Uh,
live sports always wins.
yep. Exactly. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not a big. I haven't really watched a award show in a very long time.
Yeah. Me
Um,
and Jill were talking about that. We're like, she like can't stand them anymore.
I
Like,
this was the first year I watched the ESPYS or whatever it was, or the no the award, not the ESPYS, but the NFL awards.
oh, the honors.
That was the first time ever watching that, and I was just like, okay. But yeah, no, I'll catch up on it through social media now and see who won what. And as I said, I just can't sit through it. Like there's people that just sit there the whole that those
Yeah. I
couple
used
hours
to
they're
love
sitting there.
the Oscars, but
I
I
only liked
can't.
one part. That was it. I don't like the memoriam part. Just so I could sit. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that he she passed away. Oh, so that was always the part I cared about.
All right, Gary, I want to also discuss here. I have this one titled FDTD.
Mm.
Um, so I used to listen to wrestling podcasts.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, and the one I listened to, they changed. They were on the Ringer, and then they switched and went like independent.
Okay.
And when they went independent, the host got very political,
Ugh,
and he is on the opposite end of where I'm at.
got it.
And every week he would bring it up. And so I stopped listening.
Yeah.
But I enjoy like wrestling podcasts. And so I was listening to this one called Going in Raw, which
Oh.
discusses mainly the WWE. It's two guys probably about our age, Gary. It's very similar to our podcast if all we did
Yeah.
was talk about wrestling.
Uh-huh.
Um, I would they had an episode where they were talking about President Trump,
Mhm.
and I was thinking to myself, just get off. I'm not listening to this to hear you talk about politics. The following week, like last week, I was listening to them. The one host got back into Donald Trump, and he was talking about, and I don't know if this is true or not, or if he was just saying this. He's like, yeah, this week is, excuse my French, fuck Donald Trump Day. And he's like, oh, and guess what tomorrow is? That's also fuck Donald Trump Day. And he just went off on Donald Trump. And I was like, you know what? I can't even listen to this guy. Like those people who get like so unhinged that they could have so much hate and vitriol for the president and the office of the president of the United States.
Uh-huh.
To me, that's like a red flag. Like this person has some issues. And
Yeah.
so I unfollowed them as well.
Hey, you have the right.
Do you have Gary, do you have any, because
Huh.
you're on the other side, but do you have any issues with podcasts or shows or anything that you like listen where maybe they're like so far right that you're like, I can't listen to this anymore?
So um I don't really listen to anything. I mean, I if I'm in the car, it's music. That's basically it. I don't really listen to too many podcasts. Uh, Even on my social media, sometimes I will start blocking stuff because it gets out of hand for both sides.
Right.
I mean, I just I can't just every 2 minutes just scrolling through and it's just someone bitching about something and I'm like, ugh, I just whatever. I don't even care. I'm like block, 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 block. So, but no, I don't really watch or listen to anything that uh has it like I avoid anything that has political ties to whatsoever in
Yeah.
podcasts and show things
And
like
I,
that.
and like we as a podcast, I think like there's a fine line to draw because I know you don't follow politics or like to discuss politics.
Mhm.
I enjoy politics in the way politicking is. Like,
Yeah.
I love a good presidential race just for the historical aspect of it, beyond whatever policies
Mhm.
and all that stuff.
I get you.
But I think if you're advertising yourself as a wrestling podcast,
Yes.
do
No,
wrestling.
no. I would have shut that sucker down in seconds because yeah, if I'm pulling up a podcast and I want to listen to a comedian or whatever or a comedian's podcast and then the entire episode is them just talking about political stuff. Nope,
Yeah.
you're done. I
And the
don't care
thing
if
was,
just one
it,
episode. It's just
they weren't even trying to be funny about it. Like I could see if you were trying to like
yeah,
make it humorous
goofing
or
around.
make
Yeah,
light
yeah.
of
Mhm.
Donald Trump,
Yeah.
right?
It was just
That would have
him
been
trying.
different. But it was
His
just like, fuck Donald Trump Day.
yeah.
Oh, and guess what
It,
tomorrow is? Fuck Donald Trump Day.
he has his platform. He has a whatever, probably getting paid to do the podcast. So he figured, oh, this would be perfect time. I could just say what I want to say now and blah blah blah. But yeah, but if you're a wrestling podcast and your whole episode is just you yapping that out, then yeah, I'd have a problem with that too. I'd be like, nope. I'm like, I
Right.
don't.
So
I
that's
just want to know
two
what's going
wrestling
on with.
podcasts I don't have to listen to now, Gary. So if anyone has a recommendation for another wrestling podcast, I'm all ears.
Freed up some time for you now.
All right. Speaking of comedians, Gary,
Yes,
the Machine is
the
coming to Wilkes
machine.
Barre here on April 2nd. What's
I
his
see
name?
that. Bert Kreischer.
Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. Yeah, I seen his tour thing pop up, and I was looking because he didn't have anything didn't look like he had anything here, like in my area of Florida. Trying to think if he was even going to be in Florida at all. But I did notice, I did see Wilkes Barre on there, and I was like, oh,
Now,
I
have
didn't
you
know.
seen him?
Yes, last year I seen him. I seen Tom Segura,
I knew you saw
and
Segura. I wasn't sure if you had
yeah,
seen him.
we seen Kreischer. I think right after. I think it was right after Segura.
Well,
We
okay.
went. We seen Kreischer, but yeah, no, I finally got to see him. Um, because he did it at a little bit of a smaller venue. Wasn't like one of those, like wasn't like the arena or whatever. So it was cool. Yeah, he's quite amusing. But he just
Now,
has he has
Gary,
a show out too on Netflix right now where it's his life, but it's not his wife and his daughters aren't, they're played by actresses. But yeah, it's I think it's called Free Bert. But it's his, like the lady that plays is playing his wife. It's like her name, and then the two daughters. It's Georgia and Isla, I believe, is his daughter. So yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but it looked it looked funny, so I have to check it out.
do you want to take a guess, Gary? Uh, cheapest ticket.
Oh, cheapest ticket. I'm gonna say the cheapest ticket is probably $102.
Nope.
Is that too high?
63.
That's okay. That's not bad.
That's upper level,
Okay. Is
upper
this at?
deck.
I'm assuming it's at where.
It's at the Mohegan Sun Arena.
Yeah, that's where
So,
the hockey play,
yep.
right? Okay.
And it would be set up as a stage. So the stage
Yeah,
is where like this concerts would normally be.
yeah. We've seen a comedian play at Amalie, but I think it's called something else now.
Now,
But
Gary, would you, what kind of pressure you think would be like if I knew I had to like face an arena full of people and the cheapest ticket any of them had paid was $63 to come see me, could you
you
imagine
got
the pressure?
you got to be funny. Yeah,
You imagine the balls of that guy?
yeah, you got to be. Yeah, you have to. There's no, and then the only way you're going to be truly funny is if you bring on some opening acts that are eh, you know. That way, then people sit through them, and then when you come on, you're just, oh my god, it was so much better than those first three guys that were on there, and um, but because I've been to like the Segura show, even his show, and then NEPA that we went to see. Like their openings were okay. They weren't like
Yeah.
like oh my god, like that was the funniest thing I ever heard. And then like I said, then when they came on, it just. But I mean, they've been doing it for so long too that like they, just them telling a story uh is just hilarious. Just going through it.
Yeah.
But
See, he doesn't I don't find him like I don't find him or Tom Segura particularly funny. I don't get their humor,
so
but
yeah, so some of their it's a little. Sometimes it could be a little dark, especially Segura. Segura's humor is really dark. But I mean, there are some like I mean, there was a couple parts of his like when his show too. Like there was like some of his stories. I'm like, eh. I'm like, eh, eh, eh. But it's just being able to tell this like the story or stuff like that, and go through it. And like I said, like most like a lot of his stories are like about his his daughters and stuff like that, and like him being on the road and all this. But um, yeah, you got to really. It's the delivery. You got to know. Your delivery has to be on in order for anything to be.
yeah. Like
You
Nate
know.
Bargatze or Bargatze,
Yeah.
like he he's funny to me. Gary, you want to take a stab at how much the tickets are? So you're going to be center stage, row L. So that's the 13th letter.
Okay. Yep.
So you're 13 rows back, center stage. You want to take a guess how much those tickets are each?
Let's go with 845.
$2,456 each.
Yeah, I was just being nice after hitting the 63. I figured I'm like, maybe it won't be as, but
That's crazy.
it's nuts. All the like, and yet they'll be sold out. And it's just I'm like, whoa. I mean, when we got our tickets, we were because I said it was a little bit of smaller arena. I think we might have paid 200 bucks maybe for our tickets. I'm not even. It's been a little while, and but I mean, we our seats weren't bad. I mean, you could see them on stage. Wasn't like we were up in the thing and you just seen like a little tiny uh person up there. You had to watch a screen. So, but yeah, I was just looking at tickets for Pink is coming here, and I was showing I was like telling Shannon I was looking in the arena and I was looking at the stuff, and even like up in the 300 levels they were uh in the hundreds. But yeah, like those center stage ones, there was like something like for 5 grand. I'm like, what? I'm like, and I'm like,
Wild.
I mean, it's crazy that people will be like paying for these tickets just to sit there and be like, oh, I was able to see her 13 rows back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, okay, I'm not really when it comes to a musician, even comedians too. You're there to hear them, so it's like I don't need to sit uh 4, 5, 13 rows in front just to look at them when I'm just here to listen to them. So it's like, and then pay that crazy amount of money just to do that. That's yeah,
Yeah.
no. People have too much money.
All right, Gary. The next story here is vinyl's back.
Yeah.
So Ted Joya, who is on Substack, and he his Substack is called The Honest Broker. He revealed this week that vinyl music sales reached $1 billion in the U.S.
Ooh,
this past week.
wow.
That was the first time since 1983.
Ooh,
So
wow.
over 40 years
Oh, thank you.
that vinyl now has reached 1 billion in US sales. It's wild to think if you told somebody in 1997, hey, vinyl albums
Yeah.
will be the same volume they were doing in 1983
Make a
in
comeback and yeah.
2026, they go, what the hell are you on?
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's CDs.
Yeah, everything is CDs. Sounds so much better.
CDs. Yeah.
Now, Gary, do you own a record player? Or does your
So
son own a record player?
Shannon owns a record player.
Your
Yes.
wife owns a record
Yeah, she
player.
bought one. So her mother had a whole bunch of vinyls,
Mhm.
and I don't know what happened to her record player, if she just didn't have it, whatever. So Shannon took all like we brought all the records. Not she just took some back because like some of them were like super old, like country
Mhm.
artists and things like that. That I mean, that was probably their one and only time they were on a record. So,
Oh.
uh, so yeah. But yeah, she ended up buying one of those um old school ones or whatever that so we have it's sitting over here, and then we kept a bunch of old vinyls that she had and her father had and stuff like that. So, but yeah, every once in a
Did
while she'll pull it out and play some.
did you ever buy an album?
I don't know. I don't think I ever had a vinyl album ever.
Hmm.
Um, I did. I just bought her one a couple Christmases ago. Crap, I can't remember which one it was. shoot, I don't remember, but yeah, because I mean, all of a sudden they just came like they just
They
came back
came back
again.
in
So like
style.
Target has a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
That old school, what was that one? What FYE or
Hmm.
wasn't that FYE? They they reopened another one in our one mall down here. So that
Yeah,
was
if you go to any store now, they have more vinyl than they do CDs.
oh yeah, I don't even know if I don't even know if I've seen CDs in a while now.
It would be wild for our kids to go into like a Best Buy circa 1997 or 98
Yeah.
because they would walk and go, "What the hell are all these CDs doing?"
Uh
The
huh.
whole middle of the store area would be CDs.
That's all it was. I remember going up to what was
And there might
Gallery of
be like
Sound
a
up in
there might be like a turn a like a turning stand
yeah.
with, like, some albums,
Yeah, because there was a
which
yeah,
would be
because
like Pink Floyd, like Dark Side of the Moon, a Doors album,
it was your old school, old
maybe
rock.
a
Yeah.
Zeppelin, like
Yep.
Zeppelin
Mhm.
2.
Yeah. But yeah, no. It's there was only those couple like Gallery of Sound was the only other place you probably were able to find
Right, they
vinyl
had albums
like
still.
back in our time. Uh, but majority of it was all CDs and shoot, there was still cassettes sitting out there. You know, your singles.
Now, Ted Joyous says that this number could actually be higher, except that the, record labels aren't producing their back catalog of vinyls.
Hmm.
So this is m he said a lot of this is part of the Taylor Swift effect because she's been releasing her albums on vinyl.
Mm.
But if record labels released, like, a lot of the older stuff
Yeah.
on vinyl again, they said that number would probably shoot, you know,
Oh God, yeah.
way back up. So, I
Way back.
actually have I'm gonna see if I can show you this. So, I don't know if it's not gonna reach. Let's see. So you see this, that piece of looks like furniture there?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's actually a record
Record player. You
player.
lift up the top there, right?
No,
Or is it inside the
it's in here,
oh jeez.
and
Oh
it's
yeah.
right in
Okay.
there.
I see it. Yep. That's kind of like her mother has
Yeah,
one
so
like
that
that.
actually slides out, and then you can put the records on.
Okay, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of looks like what her mother has. She has one of those ones like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting, like, a nice stereo setup, like, with an album
Yeah.
record player. Okay.
Yeah, she'll throw it on every once in a while, like she's do it like cleaning around the house or whatever.
What does she play? Like,
Throw it
what's
on. Whatever ones we have. Like, I don't. I'm not even sure what we have here. We have so we've been playing records almost every like because her mother still had some of the old Christmas albums and stuff like
Yep.
that. So like Jim Reeves and things like. So we would throw those on at Christmas time and play them. So like I said, I just bought her. I can't remember who I bought. I don't. It could have been. It wasn't Nirvana. It might have been Pearl Jam. Maybe it was a Pearl Jam album I bought her.
Okay.
And so, but yeah, we have a few here. I'm not quite sure what they are, but there's a, there's a couple.
Alright.
Like I said, my mother took all the old country ones, so because we weren't going to listen to those. No,
Alright, Gary,
sir.
and, oh, we didn't do News of the Weird yet.
No, we did not.
Well,
We just kept on rocking. All right,
it
here we go.
is time for Gary's News of the Weird, sponsored by
Rap Brewing Company, located at 10930 Endeavor Way, Seminole, Florida. And this week, Thursday, you have it was a pizza place. Oh goodness gracious. I had it in my head and I lost it now. It is.
I forgot to fill in the food trip.
I haven't had it. It's the one place I haven't been to yet. But it's the Lazy Baker Pizza Maker.
Okay.
We'll be there on Thursday. Friday you have WTF Pizza, which we just had theirs a couple weeks ago. Wasn't bad. It was pretty good.
Does that stand for what the?
What the fire?
Green.
Or
Oh,
it's where's the fire?
oh, where's the
Pizza.
fire?
So, yep. And then on Saturday, Salsa My Love will be there.
Salsa my love.
Salsa My Love. The Hefe's back on tap.
Ooh.
They have their breakfast stout on tap. Tastes like a nice little breakfast in a glass. So come check out Rap Brewing Company this weekend.
All right.
So
And Gary, as promised, is this going to be the first story that are
nope. I'm saving that for last.
okay?
But both stories were sent to me. And first story, Yellowstone elk has perfect response to taunts from a tourist in a car. Wyoming's K2 Radio on Monday shared footage showing a Yellowstone National Park tourist taunting a bull elk from his vehicle and the elk popping one of the man's tires. Watch out, buddy, the tourist grumbles through an open window as he approaches the elk on a highway. You want to fight? The elk holds its ground but is clearly agitated by the boldness of the intruders. You want to go, buddy? The man continues while inching closer. Finally, the elk lowers his head and plows his antlers into the left front tire, which hisses and deflates. The woman issues a profane response, and the footage ends. While the footage is at least 11 months old, the K2 radio post is circulating via social media and was shared Tuesday by Debbie Dixon, a photographer who specializes in Yellowstone wildlife. I see so many park visitors taunting the wildlife with their vehicles, whether following the animals or stopping right next to them. The man driving this car was verbally challenging the bull, not that his words made any difference. It was his actions by stopping the animal's path, but the bull gets the last word. On a serious note, Dixon added, I think that most people are just so excited to see wildlife up close that they don't realize how they might be upsetting or challenging an animal. So I encourage you to think about how it would feel if someone pulled up next to you, blocked your path, and put a camera in your face. You don't mess with these elks.
No, no.
Do not mess with these elks, or you'll get the horns. And our second story, which was very popular, sent many times and was told to me many times.
And this was sent to us. One of the people who sent this to us was former guest, friend of the podcast, and publisher of the Bridge Grades,
That's right.
Mr. Brad Porteous.
Quadruple amputee cornhole player accused of murder remains behind bars. The brief. Dayton Weber, 27, a quadruple quadruple amputee, remains in custody in Virginia after his first court appearance in connection to the killing of his friend, Bradrick Wells. Investigators say Weber shot Wells during an argument inside a car, then fled to Virginia after dumping the body in Charlotte Hall, Maryland. Weber is expected to be extradited to Maryland and faces murder and assault charges with another court appearance scheduled Friday. What we know, authorities identify the suspect as 27-year-old Dayton Weber, a quadruple amputee and cornhole player. Investigators say Weber is currently in custody in Virginia. Charles County Sheriff's detectives say he fled there after killing his friend, 27-year-old Bradrick Wells. What they're saying is family members say Weber and Wells had known each other since childhood. They describe Wells as a motocross rider and a car enthusiast. Very upsetting for the community of Southern Maryland, said Rob Lith, from Bud's Creek Motocross Park. To hold a weapon, you need two hands. The size of the weapon was a 9 millimeter. I'm just wondering how he could do it, said neighbor Dexter Watson. Videos posted online show Weber performing various activities, including handling firearms despite his disabilities. Weber is scheduled to appear in court in Virginia on Friday morning and is expected to be extradited to Maryland to face murder and assault charges. So, when you guys sent me this story, I didn't. First of all, I thought it was a woman from the photo because I was like, I'm like, ooh, like what is this? So I didn't actually read the whole thing. And then Shannon mentioned it to me, and she was saying how he shot his friend and then drove. I was like, just like right there, impressed me that he was able to shoot someone and then drive away. I'm like, at this point, you gotta let him go, right? You can't. It's, I just don't. I have to look up these videos. I got to see because first of all, I had to ask how he even threw cornhole because I'm like, well, how the heck is he throwing cornhole? I did see a couple of videos of how he was because he would just kind of take his two nubbies and then just fling the thing. But
Yeah, there's a lot of questions regarding this story because, Gary, God forbid I ever killed somebody. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to do first as far as disposing of a body.
oh yeah,
And I have 2 arms and 2
yeah,
legs and
yeah.
can get into a car very quickly and easily. Um, the other question is, when you arrest him, you can't handcuff him, right?
I,
Like,
no, because
how do you detain him?
I guess you. I mean, at this point, I don't think he's going to be running off on you.
Well,
So,
at this point, I wouldn't trust him.
well,
Do
that's
we
true
put
too.
do you put him in a box or something?
Man, I don't know how the heck you do. Yeah, I don't know what you do with that. Um, put him in one of those like Bajorn things and carry him into the precinct. Uh, It's I don't I just
One of those maybe those Bjorn
yeah,
backpacks.
that's the thing. Or
That's
Bjorn
the
thing. You put him in that and carry him in. I don't know. When I heard when because like I said, I didn't really. I seen the photo and I was like, I'm like, ooh, she's scary, and I didn't really read what thing. And then Shannon had mentioned it to me, and then when I pulled up the site, I was like, I'm like, oh, that was the photo I kept seeing today. And then when she was telling me about it, I was like, I'm like, I'm like, ha, there's no way. And like I was reading a couple other stories too, but I'm like, there's just so many questions. I have so
yeah.
many questions. Like I just don't. Because she said something about the gun too. I'm like, well, I guess if he was throwing corn, I'm like, I guess you could hold a gun, but I've shot a gun and it's got some.
Kick.
It's got kick to it, even a 9 millimeter. So if you have literally no hand, but you have no hands. So even if you just put your nubs together to hold the gun, how the hell are you shooting the thing? Like, are you using your nose? But then I'm like, I feel like he would have to be like right up next to his friend in order to do it because there's no way like he's shooting him from a distance. I think they said something like he was in the car and when he did it, but
And
I,
what's his name?
his name was oh my god, hold on, I lost it. Uh, uh,
Well, it reminds me of the old childhood joke. Gary, if you remember, what do you call a guy
Dayton
who
Weber,
Nate, okay.
Dayton Dayton Weber,
Oh, Dayton Weber.
Dayton. Yeah,
Do you remember the old jokes? What do you call a man with no arms and no legs?
I I remember. Yes, I remember the joke, but I just don't remember what the punchline was.
Matt.
Oh, well, now it's Dayton.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's yeah. I'll be. We'll need to do another little.
We'll keep
We'll have to, we'll have to keep an eye on this one.
eyes
Just
and
see
ears
like
on this criminal here,
yeah, what's going on here because
alleged criminal.
that's impressive. I'll
All
give
right.
him that. And that is news of the weird. Again, brought to you by Rap Brewing Company, located at 10930 Endeavor Way, Seminole, Florida.
And thanks as always to Rap Brewing Company. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page. I've been pretty consistently putting those up on YouTube. So be sure to check that out, subscribe, and maybe in June when I'm down in Florida, we'll have some special videos.
Yeah. We'll even have a special episode.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right, time for the RIPs, Gary.
Ooh.
Robert Mueller, the
Mhm.
former FBI director, passed away this week. He, of course, is one of the he was the special investigator or whatever who looked into the Donald Trump Russian collusion scandal. Part of the obituary that ABC published was actually that said it was a politically charged investigation, which I've never heard anyone in the mainstream media refer to it that way. So that was interesting to me. Also, Nicholas Brendan, who starred on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer, died at 54.
Yeah, I didn't realize I just seen that pop up the other day and I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know he passed." And then I didn't realize he just passed away. Yeah.
Now, Gary, I've never watched an episode of the hit show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Have you? I'm going to
Yes,
assume
I
you
have.
have
Mhm.
because Shannon's a big vampire chick.
Yeah, I've seen a few episodes of it. And then cuz I mean I've watched the movie, but I have seen a couple episodes.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And then finally, Leo Redvinsky, the OnlyFans owner, died at the age of 43 following a long battle with cancer. A spokesman for the company told ABC News on Monday. Redvinsky was born in Ukraine before moving to the United States. He grew up in Chicago and earned a bachelor's degree in economics from Northwestern University, according to the OnlyFans site.
And there was also one more who passed away this week. Not a lot of people probably know who she is, but Valerie Pirine. She was 82. She played in Superman. She was Miss
Yeah.
Tessmacher. So, yeah, she had just passed away as well. Miss
She was in
Tessmacher.
Superman, right?
She was in Superman. Yep.
Yep. Um, yeah. That's that Leo Radvinsky, he's only 43.
Yeah, I seen that in your notes. I was like, ooh.
Sucks.
I mean, he was probably very rich when he passed too.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, that was that.
Because OnlyFans probably you probably have to pay OnlyFans probably 10% at least, probably.
I would think there's
They're
probably
getting a
some.
cut of something, right?
Yeah. There's no way you just start a site and. But I mean, think about it. Like, I mean, that got during COVID. That was like that's all
Yeah.
you heard people talking about was like because people, most of the people that were on there were ones that had specific things that they did outside of
They did.
with people. So I mean, to be stuck home alone now is kind of they needed something. But I mean, and then you got this guy's like, oh, here I'll start this site and you can get on here and do this. You just have to pay me so much money or whatever. And And
So
then and then you hear about like some of these people making hundreds of thousands of dollars just on this site. So I mean, he had to
well,
be making something.
that was one of the stories I saw reading about him was I forget her name. I don't know if her name is like Sophia Rain or something,
Uh-huh.
but,
Yep.
uh, she made I wanna say it was $92 million in a year for OnlyFans, or maybe it was like
Mhm.
$43 million in a month. Some, like, asinine number.
Oh God, yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, that can't be right.
How much
4.73 billion.
is what she's made?
No, that's what his net worth was.
What he was worth.
The hell? What did we do wrong? God.
That when stuff like that happens, though, it makes me think, like I mean, we you think about God and think about, morality, and you wonder, is that
Mm,
is that something
that's reasonable. And you know,
and I'm not saying it is. That's just how that's these are thoughts that come into my mind.
I mean, I didn't know anything about him until you posted this. I didn't even know who created OnlyFans and all this stuff. But I mean, you want to think that that wasn't his purpose for it. It was, just so people could, kind of almost like a Facebook or something, or like a where people can get on and like uh, chat with
Right.
you or whatever, and you could just have like conversations with people because we're kind of in a lockdown. We can't go anywhere, so you could have your fans and stuff get on there and chat with you about stuff, and then it just kind of went a
Took off
completely
from there.
different direction.
Yeah.
You kind of want to think that, but I feel it was set up for something of
Yeah.
that nature. But
Now he wasn't the founder of the company. He purchased the company from 2 guys in England
oh, okay.
and kind of turned it into what it's become today.
Okay. Then that's
Um,
probably that 4 points, that 4 billion is probably not from just only that was he probably
no,
had other
he did a lot of
I was gonna say,
investing
he
and
was
stuff.
probably a big tech guy or something and
Yeah.
then had other
He was like
things.
an angel investor in a bunch of tech startups
Got
and
it. Yeah.
stuff.
So
Um,
okay.
but and I also saw that him and his wife had donated a lot of money to cancer research over the last year or so, obviously because of
That
him
would make sense. Yep.
suffering,
Mhm.
but
Ooh, yeah.
all right. Gary, before we go here, I put a note on Afro Man. Are you familiar with Afro Man?
I've heard a couple things. I might have been on TikTok and maybe
Apparently,
on
there's a
Instagram
trial
or whatever.
involved with this guy.
So, someone had maybe it was Shannon had something playing or whatever, and it might have been a TikTok or whatever, and people were talking about this guy. But I that was the only time I heard of it. So when I see it on there, I'm like, okay, I've heard of him, but I don't know what he's all about
Yeah.
and what else is going on about that. So
Has something to do with police officers, and I think being wrongly arrested,
yeah,
and
I
he
was
wrote
trying to listen. She was listening to it while I was working the other day, and I was trying to hear what they were talking about, and the guy was just like rambling on about stuff. So I wasn't quite sure what the heck he was even talking about, and so I just heard Afro Man, and I was like, okay,
alright, and then one other thing before we go, Gary.
yeah,
This, past week, I watched a, NFL on NBC football game from 1982. It
okay,
was the San Francisco 49ers against the San Diego Chargers.
oh,
So it was Joe Montana versus Dan Fouts, 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
yeah,
The coaches were Bill Walsh and Don Coryell, also Hall of Fame
hmm
coaches. And it was fun to watch. It was a very good game. Uh, However, the best part for me really was the commercials that played. They played like the regular
Oh,
commercials.
okay.
It was like the
That
live broadcast.
yeah.
They were advertising, Gary, Chrysler cars with a 10.9% interest rate
Ooh,
if you acted fast, Gary,
yeah. Oh,
which
wow.
which now seems like ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
why would you be even mentioning that interest rate?
Yeah,
Apparently,
exactly. Wow.
so the cars also have a 5-year or 50,000 mile uh,
Warranty, yeah.
warranty. Now
Oh,
they're all like 10 or 10 and 100,000.
that's hilarious.
There was an ad for Atari. If I can remember, I'll
Ooh,
put the link in the show notes so you can watch it. But yeah, Wild Times, 1982.
yeah. Sounds like it. Ooh.
A lot of beer commercials,
Oh, I'm sure.
which still hits. There was one about a VCR that you could get your hands on. So some interesting stuff. All right. Oh, and I sent it to our friend Jay M from Oliphant
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
he's a big 49er fan.
Oh, yeah.
And the broadcast team for that game was Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen. And Jace shared a story that he checked in Merlin Olsen when he worked
Ooh,
at the hotel in New Jersey,
yeah.
and he said he was miserable.
Of course.
So
That sounds
funny how
about right.
everything is connected.
Exactly.
All right.
Wow.
Well,
Fantastic.
that's another show.
That's it.
I'm
Another
Brian
little lucky
Letta
dip.
for co-host and producer extraordinaire, Mr. Gary McDaniel. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye.
I gotta go to bed.
In the eyes of a ranger, the unsuspecting stranger had better know the truth of wrong from right. 'Cause the eyes of the ranger are upon you. Any wrong you do, he's gonna see. When you're in Texas, look behind you. 'Cause that's where the ranger's gonna be.
Is that Chuck Norris?